Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me. Now when I saw this watch, I just had to have one. It is that good looking. Even though I already have a Sumo in my collection, the SBDC113, when I saw this, I was like, man, I've just got to add this to my collection. It's that good looking. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Today we have the Seiko Prospex Japan 2020 Collection Sumo, and this is model number SBDC113. And we're just going to take a real quick look at this watch, not a full in-depth review. I'll go ahead and put up the specs on the left-hand side of the screen, but freeze frame it if you want all of it. Now, if you like any of the other watches I've reviewed on my channel, I do get a small commission if you shop at my Amazon store. Again, a very small commission. So if you want to do that, I definitely appreciate it. These range anywhere in price from about $850 to about $1,000. So they're not cheap. This is the third gen. And of course, this is a special edition. This watch is part of the Japan 2020 collection, where Seiko is going to donate a portion of the sales to fight the coronavirus pandemic. They're going to give the money to the Red Cross, so it's for a really good cause, plus you get a really good looking watch. Now this is their limited edition packaging right here. Let's go ahead and take off the outer sleeve. See what you get. On the underside, you see where it says limited edition. There you go. You also get a really nice silicone strap. Of course, you're very familiar with the instruction manual and the warranty stuff right there. Got a little piece of foam. There is the watch. Man, that is an absolute stunner. Here's your silicone strap, a very high quality silicone strap, by the way. Really, really nice looking. As you can see, I haven't even taken the tag or the stickers off of this thing. Man, what a good looking watch. Good grief. I love that electric green. The electric green on the second hand and the diver's 200 meter text is what just got me. Plus, look at that sunburst dial. Absolute stunner. Now, I reviewed the gray Sumo, I guess about 6 months ago, and I wasn't quite a convert yet to the third generation, but man, it's really starting to win me over. I do like the second generation a lot, but this third generation, with the addition of the sapphire crystal, the addition of the 6R35 movement with that 70-hour power reserve, plus just this watch itself, I love that electric green. It just reminds me of a Rolex Deep Sea for some reason. Obviously a totally different watch, but just that color combination, that colorway, just reminds me of that Rolex Deep Sea. Man, this is a good looking watch. All right, let's go ahead and put up the specs on the left-hand side of the screen. Again, I'm just gonna show you just the basics, and then we'll talk more about this watch, and I'll show you some macro shots. So you're looking at a 45 millimeter stainless steel case. It's 12.9 millimeters thick. It's 52.6 millimeters lug to lug. Of course, you're on a 20 millimeter stainless steel bracelet with a dive extension, and this weighs in at about 188 grams. So guys, I mean, I love it. Again, my favorite Sumo so far, and these are gonna be very collectible, as only 1,000 of these are gonna be made. Kind of the timing issue with the coronavirus pandemic. 2020 is just an incredibly eventful year with all the politics and just everything going on. Just a really neat colorway. So I think these are going to be snapped up incredibly fast. So if you want to get one, I would highly recommend that you just go ahead and bite the bullet and pay the premium. I was lucky enough to get this for $800 and some dollars, $860 with taxes and shipping included. So I absolutely pretty much stole this watch. I got a really, really good deal. They're currently going for about $1,000. Between $850 and $1,000. You can find them somewhere, for around $900, but most of the time they're about, actually I've seen them for also about $1,100. So anyway, just, try to find a good deal, but man, it's just such a good looking watch. You got that sunburst dial, like I said before, that electric green. And let me bring in my old SBDC113. In fact, let me put that on the left side. And let me kind of compare and contrast the dials and the colors. So yeah, the one on the right, the new one, the third gen, obviously you've got a sunburst dial. The second gen over here, the SBDC113, you don't have a sunburst dial. The blue is kind of muted. It's more muted looking. Of course, you have the thicker indexes, the wider indexes, the thicker font on the bezel. The hands are thicker. The only thing that's really about the same is the second hand. The second hand looks pretty much the same, except for, no, it looks about the same. You have a wider bezel around the date window over here on the third gen. But I mean, the watch pretty much looks the same, except for just some minor tweaks so far as the thickness of the fonts, the thickness of the indexes, the thickness of the hands. But the basic overall, well, the case is the exact same, but just the basic overall look of the watch is pretty much the same. This one has a signed crown. As you can see right there, the third gen does not. I've always wondered why they didn't include a signed crown on the third gen. But anyway, no signed crown on the third gen. But, you know, still both very, very good looking watches. There you go. Try to get them both in focus here. I don't know if I can do that. But man, I just such good looking watches. The whole Sumo line is just fantastic looking. I love them all, to tell you the truth. But this Japan 2020 model is just absolutely stunning. Let me go ahead and put up a picture of all the different Japan 2020 models. As you can see, they kind of represent all of the different brands from Seiko. So there are all 7 different models of them. Pretty cool, man. And I know these are going to be snapped up really quickly. So if y'all want one of any of these models, make sure you go out there and get it now, because I know these are going to go fast. Just a fantastic looking watch. Let me go ahead and show you some of these pictures here. There's a close-up of the dial. You can see the Japan down there at 6R35. Of course, that electric green Divers 200 meter text and the electric green on the second hand. All right, there's a close-up of the pip up there at 12 o'clock. Here's the case back with sapphire crystal right there and a portion of the Japan 2020 collection text on the back. All right, here's a full picture of the case back. You can see Japan Collection 2020 limited edition. So it looks like this one was made in April of this year. There's a close-up of the Divers 200 meter text. A close-up of the second hand. There's a close-up of the Seiko logo. I think at a watch in this price range, they really ought to have an applied Seiko logo. A close-up of the really highly polished 12 o'clock index. All of these indexes have nice polishing around them. There's one of the date window. Again, that date window, that bezel, that border is a lot thicker on the third gen than on the second gen. A close-up of the aluminum insert. You can see the polishing on the bezel too, by the way. Here's where the case, one of my favorite lines of the entire watch is where the case meets the bezel, and the bezel just kind of sits inside the case. I think that's really cool looking, and it really differentiates the Sumo from any other watch out there. Very, very distinctive design element. I love it. Here's another one of the Japan text and 6R35 text down there at 6 o'clock. And that's it, guys. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think this watch is worth the premium, because, I mean, they're not cheap by any means. They're definitely very expensive watches. And again, prices range anywhere from $850 to $1,100. Let me go ahead and try this thing on real quick here. Show you what it looks like on the wrist. Then I'll go ahead and give you a loom shot. I'll give you a loom shot of both watches. Oh man, that is a stunner. Man, I cannot convey to y'all how good looking this watch is. It's just hard to do on camera. Man, I love these things. All right, let's go ahead and kill the studio light and kill this monitor. And I'll go ahead and zap both of them. I mean, they're going to be exactly the same so far as the loom goes. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. You've got the new version on the left and the old version on the right. Third gen on the left, second gen on the right. I mean, you know what to expect. And it does look like the third gen doesn't have quite the application of loom that the second gen does, only because the second gen it basically has thicker indexes, thicker hands and thicker indexes. So it does look like it's glowing a little bit brighter just because there's just more loom. There's, you know, more actual loom on the watch. But, you know, man, they're both great looking. And, I said this on the Sumo Gray, and I still think this, I mean, this is a fantastic looking watch, but I still prefer the overall design of the second gen, the SBDC113. I just like, the fatter font, the fatter hands, the fatter indexes. But I love the dial. I love the green text on this one. I mean, they're both fantastic watches. You just can't go wrong with the Sumo. They're just a great investment. Any gen Sumo. I mean, this one with its 70-hour power reserve, I mean, that's just insane. 70 hours on a watch is a lot. You get about 50 on the second gen, and again, 70 hours on the third gen. And I'm really curious as to why this one doesn't have a signed crown. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring this to you real quick, let you take a look at it, let you know that they're available. And again, make sure you go out there and get one of these if you want one of them. As always, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you click that notification bell. And until the next review, I'll see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.